Hey guys, I am here in a place called Mount Herman, and it's in Monument, Colorado. A good friend of mine had referred this to me to go hiking, thought I would go check it out, and so I've came up here a couple of times and I want to share my story. So, as I came up here, I really thought, I'm just going to go hiking for a while, New place, new area, fell in love with it because where I've been hiking is a little more towards desert structure, so desert climate, desert rock formation, desert, it's really red. In this area, which is just not even 30 minutes north of where I've been hiking, is more like the depth of the Rocky Mountains. So it's a little more like the brown soil and the pine trees and the forestry and that kind of stuff. So even just that short area, totally different. So here I am, I'm at this hike, again, Mount Herman, Monument, Colorado, and I decide I love this place. I really, truly love this place. So here I am, I start out on the trail, already fell in love with it, and I really, truly thought I was just there for a hike, but I am a higher dimensional being, but I'm also a spiritual medium. And so for myself, my nervous system can pick up on different vibrational frequencies that are not visible to other people because they're on a different vibration, if that makes sense. But because I'm more interdimensional or multidimensional, I can shift my consciousness and I can see different vibrations of stuff. And so for myself, I can pick up on spirits. And so here I am, I'm at Mount Herman. Beautiful place, think I'm going on this hike. And the first thing I noticed was they had a fire. And so there's a lot of the trees that are pretty scorched. And so I kind of started to think, at first I thought, is it like pyromania? Did somebody set something on fire, maybe camping, and just, maybe their fire was a little close to a tree, or, I couldn't really think. But then the more I got to looking and kind of investigating, I noticed there was tons and tons and tons of beetle kill, and it was thick in there, because I've seen a lot of beetle kill here in Colorado, but anytime that happens, it's a little more sporadic, and I've seen them on almost every type of tree there is. So unfortunately, with the climate being dry, we get a lot of beetle kill. But here I am looking at it, and I realize this looks like it could be more like a natural fire. So energy's still good, not quite as good as when I first got here, but still really good. And then the further I started getting in, I started feeling, I don't know, not gloomy, but just a little more gloomy. As I looked at the trees and the burn scars, I was like, I kind of felt people, like the trees were people. There was this one group of trees that were like a family, and it was really weird because it was a big tree, and it was like a little bit thinner tree in front, almost like a female tree, reaching back, hanging on for dear life to the bigger tree behind it, and with the other branch barely hanging on to a tiny branch in front of it, which looked like a child. And it was, I don't know, the energy that I was picking up on was like sorrow and grieving, and like there's burn scars, and all I can smell is like charcoal, and like it's just, there's many positive things that come out of fires, and I'll have to put that in another video because I got 10 minutes and I'm already 4.5 minutes in, so gotta make this quick. I'm gonna talk a little faster, but all these burn scars, and here I feel like I'm picking up on this energy of this family, even though they're trees. It's a man and a woman hanging on for dear life, holding on to him, and she's trying to hold on to the baby, and it's like I feel distressed looking at these trees that are all burned and scorched. And so I see this, And then I move a little bit forward and I see this cement foundation that's just in this weird random spot. So there's no structure built on it. It's just this flat piece of cement foundation. And you can see where the trees are kind of growing out of the middle of it and the sides of it and pushing it up, and there's cracks. And it's real small, so you can tell it's older, like a smaller structure. And I really started picking up on the grieving and the sorrow. And so at that point I was like, okay. Then I see a black cloth that is hung over a tree branch. And it wasn't really there, but because my nervous system can pick up on different vibrations, I can see the cloth hanging. And so I get to that point, and then I'm still kind of feeling this grieving. I'm still feeling this sorrow. And I walk a little bit further, and I get to this area where the trees. So I'm in a forestry area. So when you think of natural forestry, trees are sporadic. Okay, when there's a fire, pine cones combust and they spread all over the place. So when they replant and regrow, they're just in a random spot. So when I get to this spot, they're like planted in perfect rows. I think there was like 5 rows, and then it would skip like 100 feet, and then there'd be like another 5 rows, and then it would skip another 100 feet, and then another 5 rows. And I was like, okay, farming, as long as I've been a landscaper gardener, like I know these trees were manually planted. These were not sporadic, like natural planting. And so I'm like, okay, picking up on a lot of energy there. And by that time, like, I am just full-blown picking up on energies just everywhere. And so it turns out everything that I was experiencing was from World War I. And so the trees that were planted in memory of, I think they said the employees that passed, but I don't know what they mean by employees, because it wasn't like rankings, it was just employees. So I don't know, but they were manually planted, and they were planted for those employees that passed. As far as the trees, I'm here today, and I picked up on it again, more energy, and all around these burn scars, there was literally probably 100, I may be exaggerating a little bit, maybe not that many, but there was a lot. Tons and tons of spirits all around me, standing beside these trees. So I'm picking up on the World War I spirits that these trees were planted for. And so between that and then the black cloth that I could see, those are hung for grievance for people that are in sorrow. And so all this energy that I'm picking up on actually was happening in World War I in this whole area, and I picked up on all of it just by going on a hike. So when it comes to being a medium, it is so very real. It is not everybody, it's not a belief. It's something that our nervous system picks up on, the vibration, and we actually physically get an image of what's going on. Some people just hear stuff, smell stuff, taste stuff. For me, it's all of it. I can see stuff. So today, my hair stood up on my arms. I had spirits all around me everywhere, and I actually had to stop and come back because it wasn't bad, but it was too much. So I'm gonna try it again. But I had to share my experience in Mount Herman Monument, Colorado.